The oppressive silence of Flagstaff's late summer heat pervaded the air. The developing storm behind closed doors, however, was what caused the Brown family to perspire rather than the weather. TLC was unable to shield Robyn and Kody Brown from the revelation of a long-buried secret that was suddenly erupting from the vault of their meticulously maintained image. Robyn sat on the edge of the large leather couch in their now spooky quiet mansion, her well-groomed fingers shaking over a pile of legal envelopes. TLC Legal Counsel. Urgent was written on the edges. Lips parted, mascara smudged from the previous evening, her face was pallid. She had sobbed uncontrollably. Since the truth was known, it was more terrible than she had anticipated. The repercussions start for months. Rumors had been circulating on the internet. Rumors of private accounts, misappropriated production stipends, and strange personnel disappearances during crucial filming weeks. However, until a former assistant producer gave records to a well-known blogger in an anonymous manner, no one had concrete evidence. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Records demonstrating large TLC wire transactions to a private LLC that was registered in Robyn's maiden name. The remainder of the family was not informed about the LLC. Janelle didn't see any money. Mary was unaware that such a business even existed. The screenshots infuriated Christine, who was watching from Utah and had been gone for a long time. Robyn had been surreptitiously transferring money intended for family distribution to her personal bank accounts. Kody was aware. Worse, he assisted in setting it up. Up until now, TLC's bosses had always turned a blind eye. The network was losing viewers and sympathy as a result of Kody's deteriorating on-camera behavior and the public outcry over Garrison's tragedy, which caused ratings to decline. One internal memo was released to the media. Our ethical clause is violated by Robyn and Kody's omission to declare personal financial benefit. Review and suspension are proceeding immediately. Janelle ends. The quiet Janelle had not spoken. Too silent. Her last straw, however, was the embezzlement news. With her older children standing behind her with their arms folded in sympathy, she arranged a press conference outside her lawyer's office. Her voice trembled with years of anger, but it didn't break. We were informed that this was a family for more than 10 years. We all gave up our money, our dignity, and our privacy. As it happens, multiple love was never the issue. Robyn and Kody were stealing everything for themselves. TLC cuts the connection. It was an early Tuesday call. As the lifeless, aloof voice of the TLC executive filled the speaker, Robyn gazed at her iPhone in blankness. With immediate effect, we're stopping filming. Your family's contract with TLC is being reviewed for termination, while a legal investigation is conducted. It was finished. The flagship show, which had previously been TLC's crown jewel, was being shut down, not because its viewers had left, but rather because the falsehood that had supported it had finally fallen apart. Backstage, TLC's legal team had already started the process of recovering damages for what they now referred to as fraudulent misrepresentation. Mary's last retaliation as Robyn twitched, sobbed, and accused a witch hunt. Mary stood composedly at a Phoenix radio station, her voice cold and authoritative. Robyn's desire for serenity was constant. Manipulation, however, does not bring about peace. Stealing from your sister wives is not the source of it. I just took the truth with me when I left. And now, at last, the entire world can see it. She produced one page, a tax return submitted by the LLC Robyn used to hide TLC funds. Only Robyn and Kody were mentioned as authorized agents. The other spouses? Not even footnotes. The collapsed Kody had become mute, banished from 3/4 of his family, and now a pariah in the polygamist world. Robyn's calls were no longer answered by him. When TLC attempted to arrange a final confessional, he did not answer. The man who used to glorify his women on television had vanished into thin air. The board of TLC announced an internal reorganization in the meanwhile. Employees who had defended Robyn and Kody were being let go. Testimony was being given by former producers. And Robyn was alone herself somewhere in that same Flagstaff home, legally as well as emotionally. Every court document now bore her name. A civil complaint for fraud and back pay was filed by Janelle's attorney. Christine was coming along. Mary as well. TLC too? They were bringing a countersuit against the Browns for $3.1 million in damages and breach of contract. Christine's startling disclosure. Christine Brown made a live appearance on Good Morning America 2 weeks after TLC suspended Sister Wives, grinning with the serene confidence of a woman who had been proven right. The confused and heartbroken Christine from season 15 was no longer there in Flagstaff. Her eyes were angry as she sat up straight in a fitted navy outfit. Secrets were always present. However, I never thought that funds intended for our children and futures would be diverted to a company that was registered behind our backs. She produced a shiny file with the letter C on it. The new production deal with Brown and Associates. The crowd let out a gasp. They might have been canceled by TLC. However, our narrative is far from over. The Bargain? A documentary series that tracks Christine, Janelle, and Mary, the ex-wives, as they reconstruct their lives, recover their money, and reveal the years of financial fraud, lying, and gaslighting. Reclaimed Life After Polygamy is the working title. The secret business empire investigators were following every document trail connected to Sullivan Ventures LLC, the LLC registered in Robyn's maiden name, behind the headlines. Even the experienced auditors were taken aback by what they discovered. 3 rental homes in northern Arizona that have not been publicized. A timeshare in Las Vegas that was bought amid the Brown family's financial emergency in 2019. A high-end internet store run by Robyn that sells modest wear and is funded by TLC stipends. TLC bank deposits that were designated for shared filming expenses were transferred to a Utah shell account. What about Cody? On each and every filing, he was identified as a strategic advisor. An email that was subpoenaed in 2022 said, "Ensure that these statements are not seen by Mary or Janelle." Inform TLC that the costs were incurred for either production design or family therapy. Robyn B. signed it. The children of adulthood rise up. TLC did not deliver the decisive blow. It originated with the following generation. On Instagram, Madison, Logan, Michael T., Gwendolyn, and Gabriel all contributed to a vicious video statement. The footage was shot in Christine's backyard in Utah, and it had an honest and unvarnished tone. "They stole from our moms. We were robbed. And we're speaking up now." Logan also said, "We were informed that college funding was non-existent. But our dad was out there investing in dubious real estate, purchasing iPads for Robyn's children, and taking lavish camping vacations? Not anymore." They verified that Robyn and Cody's kids received special treatment from TLC producers, including presents and bonuses for filming, which the other kids were routinely denied. Even Mary's child Leon, who had previously cut ties with the family, posted a mysterious tweet, "I kept quiet for my own survival." However, the reality is now more audible. The case heard on reality television. Janelle and Mary filed a joint civil case in Arizona Superior Court, seeking damages for emotional abuse linked to financial manipulation, restitution for TLC money that was disguised, and $850,000 in back profits. After Christine joined, the claim was increased to $1.4 million. TLC filed a countersuit to recover $3.1 million that they claimed Robyn and Cody's LLC had fraudulently absorbed through contract violations and deception. The legal wording was unambiguous: deception, money laundering, and deliberate abuse of caste contracts. Under pressure from the law, Cody filed an emergency action to remove himself from Robyn's company, but the paperwork was too complicated. His signature was all over the place. Robyn's defense? During a local Flagstaff news segment, she broke down in tears and said, "I had no idea. I just signed the document that Cody instructed me to do." However, the public sympathy had died by then. Even ardent supporters of Robyn were shifting their positions. Her social media was inundated with comments. "You were aware. You were constantly aware." The Rebirth Part 2's last scene is set in a silent Salt Lake City production lot. Mary, Janelle, and Christine tour the set of their next show. The Brown family crests have vanished. Rather, affirmations such as freedom, healing, legacy are written along the walls. Christine looks into the camera. "We threw everything at him. However, we are currently constructing something for ourselves." The names of the new cast members, other women fleeing disastrous polygamous marriages, financial abuse, and religious cults, are revealed when the camera moves to a long whiteboard. Retaliation was no longer the only theme of the docuseries. There was a movement. Cody Dissects Cody Brown has been refusing to leave his home in Flagstaff for weeks. With the shades closed, the phone off, and the curtains drawn, the once proud patriarch who flourished in front of cameras now hid behind blackout curtains. The quiet was overwhelming. Tension now filled the walls that had once echoed with the sounds of production staff and the pretense of family harmony. Robyn didn't talk much. The kids walked on tiptoe. However, the lawsuit wasn't the worst part. It was the notice of eviction. TLC's fraud countersuit focused on the mansion, the one that was bought with money from the shared family budget. The asset was frozen by the court. There was a soft knock on the door. The notice was presented to Robyn by a private process server. You have 30 days to leave the area while the property is being seized and a legal investigation is underway. Robyn fell to the ground. Cody did not respond at all. He merely muttered, "They all went." And now they also stole the cameras. The change in power. Christine, Janelle, and Mary were doing well back in Utah. Sarah Trumbull, a forensic accountant who had previously been a victim of a polygamist complex in Arizona, was employed by the three ex-wives. She had discovered all Nevada hidden accounts. Robyn's private P.O. box was used to receive TLC royalty checks. Production equipment budgets were used for exclusive treatment sessions for Robyn and her children, high-end watches, and off-grid survivalist gear. Janelle's 401k? Lost. Utilized to pay back Cody's own debt. Christine's bonuses for TLC? Reallocated to cover Robyn's inventory for her online boutique. How much money does Mary make from her bed and breakfast? Incorporated into a Brown family trust that didn't exist in reality. There was now concrete proof of the truth. The children of Robyn speak up. Aurora was the first. She clutched a journal during a teary broadcast, with pages turning to underlined entries about growing up with a false promise of family. They said that this had to do with love. However, we participated in a lie. I was unaware that Christine was the source of the funds. Or Janelle. I had no idea that Mary's firm was funding my education. Dayton then issued a typed statement by the student newspaper at his university. I support my siblings in their cause. I don't agree with the decisions our mother made. I want to reestablish ties with my extended family away from contracts and cameras. Even Brianna, who had been silent for years, shared a mysterious TikTok that had a history of financial records accompanied by audio recordings of her mother sobbing on sister wives. The caption said, "We weren't blind. Simply afraid." Robyn attempted to turn it off. She pleaded with them to be silent. However, the quiet had turned into cooperation. They were finished. The courtroom battle. 9 a.m. Arizona Superior Court. The courtroom was full. The corridor was lined with cameras. Outside, protesters held placards that said, "Justice for Janelle" and "Cody lied. TLC paid." Cody entered stooped, with disheveled hair and a haggard appearance. Wearing all black, Robyn had a battered leather-bound Book of Mormon in her hand. Christine, Janelle, and Mary sat opposite them, polished, poised, and prepared. Their attorney made the following presentation. Cast was not informed of 12 years' worth of TLC payouts. Internal TLC letter screenshots displaying unique Robyn-only benefits. Cody texted Robyn, telling her to keep the other wives in the dark. Citing contract violations, intellectual property theft, and manipulation of the production crew, TLC's attorneys supported the ex-wives. The judge's contempt was obvious. This has nothing to do with family. This is systematic deception that was planned by two people who used fame, family, and religion as weapons for their own gain. The gavel was slammed by him. The plaintiffs are granted $1.4 million in damages by the court. Furthermore, this court upholds TLC's suit against Robyn Sullivan Brown and Cody Wynn Brown for $3.1 million in misappropriated monies. Liens on property will be put into effect right away. In the courtroom, there were gasps. Robyn passed out. Cody merely sat there, hollow and blinking. Repercussions and rebirth after a month. The mansion in Flagstaff was deserted, its opulent entrance now boarded up. In rural Arizona, Cody was seen living in a trailer on a borrowed plot of land. According to his neighbors, he doesn't spend much